would like people to learn without having to go through the terrible experiences necessarily. Um, I think adversity is the best teacher, but if you can get it right without having to go through all that suffering, more power to you.
How is how do you, knowing what you know now, how do you avoid those things coming back up in your current relationship or in your current life where you are now?
I think the key is awareness. You have to catch yourself when you are falling into traps. I think naturally we have a tendency of reverting to old patterns when things don't go well, when things go wrong. And we just need to step back and say, whoa, 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 I'm going down the wrong path. I've been down this path before. I'm not going down again. I can choose. I have the wisdom to realize what I'm doing, and I can choose a different response.
Is that choice hard though? Because I look back and you and I have had so many conversations, and I put myself in your situation sometimes when I reflect on what you've told me. Um, it doesn't seem like it's easy, and it seems like it seems that it's more difficult to maintain not going back to that. Is that where you are now, Sonia?
I'm at a point where it's easier for me to catch myself, and that is really the key. Because you're going to have triggers. They're going to come. They're inevitable. They're a part of life. And if you find yourself at a point where you can just notice, wait a minute, this is what I'm doing. This is what I used to do. And it didn't work. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result, right? So, to the degree that you realize you are facing a similar situation and then you're about to engage in a similar response to what you have done in the past that hasn't worked, that is the point where you stop and you make a conscious choice. You are intentional to do something different so you can get a better result that it's more in alignment to the person that you want to be and the life you want to create for yourself.
Why do you think we avoid identifying our triggers and addressing them from your experience?
I think because they're painful and because they bring back memories and feelings that are uncomfortable. So sometimes it's just easier to pretend they're not there. But again, you go down that route and it will catch up with you, not necessarily in the moment, but down the line. So you're better off just making the right choices as you go along instead of having to take corrective steps, which there's nothing wrong with taking the corrective steps. But if you can avoid going down the wrong path, much better, and alleviate and avoid some suffering, along the way.
I remember in my 20s, I had to learn to identify some of the triggers. I don't say some, I had to learn to identify the triggers. And it wasn't an easy conversation that I had to have with myself. And it was difficult, but I felt at that time it was very necessary because I felt that having these triggers out there for the world to see, and for me, to a degree, not being able to control them left me vulnerable. And I felt a sense of weakness. And I didn't want it to be like the luggage of my life, where I'm taking it from one relationship to another relationship, one situation to another. And when I have these types of conversations, Sonia, with other people, I can understand why they don't want to address it, but it can't be a situation where you're turning a blind eye, where you're saying, this is my trigger. I know it's there. I know that there's going to be people out there that can have access to it, but I don't want to do anything because I'm okay, worst case scenario, being by myself. Like, how unhealthy do you think that type of mindset is for the person?
Well, I know that it's risky and it's scary to be vulnerable, but the important thing about vulnerability is that it gives you the opportunity to discover something that needs healing. And if you don't bring it up to the surface, if you don't give it a chance to heal, it will remain buried and keep on coming up at very inopportune times. So I think it's key to tackle these triggers head on and recognize them and be self-compassionate. Just be kind to yourself and say, it's okay. You're going to be okay. This is a trigger. You can get over this, and everything will work out. And give yourself that space to work things out, and without being concerned about what other people are thinking. You know what? And sometimes we are so self-conscious, and I confess I'm really one of those people who's very self-conscious about a number of different things. But as someone put it, most people don't care about you. They don't care. They're consumed by themselves. So you're going through your trigger. They don't care. They're not noticing. They're really noticing their own triggers and their own worries and their own fears. So face your fears and your triggers head on and try to heal them with self-love. You need to engage in self-love as opposed to trying to reject your triggers and your shadow sides. If you don't accept them, they will keep on showing up because they want to be accepted and they want to be healed.